Students, in the last period we have seen how to write down a surd in the simplest form. This is the surd square root of 50. Now find out the prime factors of 50. 2 into 5 into 5. Write down in the square root. Then make the group of two same factors. Make the group of 5 into 5. That means it is a square. And for this group we take a single. That means it is the square root. And this 2 remains in the square root. In this way, we write the surd in the simplest form. In this simplest form, it is the rational part outside of the square root, which is in the multiplication with this irrational part. This square root of 2 is irrational part. This is rational part and this is irrational part. Now, for the next topic, we are learning how to write down this simplest form of the surd in its previous form, that means in the form of square root of 50. Now, I am writing here the simplest form of the surd 5 square root of 2. Now, to convert in the previous form, this 5 write down in the square root, but according to the rules. What are the rules? It is the square root. When we are taking inside it, then we have to make the square of that. That's why I write down first of all square root as it is, this 2 as it is. When we are taking this 5, which is the rational here, inside the square root, then we have to do the square of that. That means what is the order of the surd? Write down on the as the power of that number. What is the order of the surd? Write down that is the power of the number. That means we are doing the square here actually. Square root of 2 into 5 square 25. 25 2s are 50 and square root of 50. That means how to convert a simplest surd in the previous form in this way. Now we see the second example. This is the simplest form of the surd 6 square root of 3. Now take the 6 inside the square root and do the square of that. Square root of 3 as it is. What is the order of the surd? Now write down as the power of that number. 3 into 6 into 6. 6 square means 6 into 6. Write down the square root and the product of this is 108. Now the third example. This is another simplest form of the surd 2 square root of 5. Now take 2 inside the square root. Do the square of that. What is the order? Write down that order on the as the power of that number. Square root of 5 into 2 square. 2 square means it is 4. Square root of 5 4s are 20. Next example. 4 square root of 5. It is the simplest form of the surd is equal to, write down 5 as it is. Take 4 inside the square root by doing the square. Square root of 5 into 4 into 4 and it is square root of 80. Then how to convert a simplest form of the surd in its previous form? We have seen that. And these conversions are very important for the next topic. And our next topic is comparison of surds. Two surds of the same order can be compared by comparing the radicands. That means comparison is based on what are the rules? First of all, check the order of the surd. Then whose radicand is more, that surd is greater. Here is the first example. square root of 7, comma square root of 5. The orders of the surds are same. When the orders are same, then whose radicand is greater, that surd is greater. Because in between 7 and 5, 7 is greater. That's why its square root is also greater than the square root of 5. So that this surd is greater than this. That means square root of 7 is greater than square root of 5. First example in which the rational parts are 1 only. Now in the second example, 6 square root of 2, comma 5 square root of 5. 6 is the rational part, this is irrational part. In the second surd, 5 is the rational part and this square root of 5 is the irrational part. In between these two numbers, what is the radicand exactly? To decide it, who is greater, we have to take this 6 inside the square root. How we have seen in the previous examples. Write down this square root as it is. Take 6 inside the square root. Do the square of that. 2 into 6 into 6, that means square root of 72. The rational part is 1 here. It is not necessary to write down square root of 72. Next number is 5 square root of 5. While comparing the surds, always put the rational part 1. If any other than 1, then take it inside the square root. Now square root of 5. Take this 5 inside the square root, doing the square. Square root of 5 into 5, that means square root of 125. Now the rational part of the surd is 1 here. When the rational part of the surds are 1, then it is very easy to compare them. Now the orders are same. The orders of the surds are 2. Both are same. Then whose radicand is greater? That surd is greater. In between these two, 125 is greater than 72. That's why this second surd is greater. Then square root of 72 is the conversion of this. And the square root of 125 is conversion of this. Second is greater, that's why 6 square root of 2 is less than 5 square root of 5. Next example, 3 square root of 2 and the second surd is 2 square root of 3. To decide who is greater, always make the rational part of the surd 1. But here some rational parts are other than 1. That's why take this 3 inside the square root by doing the square. 2 into 3 into 3 means square root of 18. The conversion of this surd is square root of 18. To make the rational part of this 1, take 2 inside the square root. Square root of 3 as it is. Do the square of this. 3 into 2 into 2 is equal to square root of 12. The conversion of this is square root of 12. Now the rational parts of these two are 1, 1. Then it is very easy to compare. Orders are same. Then compare the radicands. Whose radicand is greater? That surd is greater. Square root of 18 is greater than square root of 12. Now square root of 18 is the conversion of 3 square root of 2. In place of this, write down this. And square root of 12 is the conversion of 2 square root of 3. Write down in place of that. First is greater, that's why first surd is greater. Fourth example. 7 square root of 2 comma 6 square root of 2. Now remove the rational parts which are other than 1. Take inside the square roots. This square root of 2 as it is. Take 7 inside the square root by doing the square of that. Square root of 2 into 7 into 7, that means square root of 98. 6 square root of 3, 3 as it is. Take 6 inside the square root by doing the square is equal to square root of 3 into 36 and square root of 108. Now the rational parts are 1. Here is 1, here is 1. Now take them below in this way. Square root of 98 and square root of 108. Orders are same. While comparing the surds, first of all check that orders are same. Yes, orders are same. Now, whose radicand is greater, that surd is greater. The radicand of second surd is greater, and that is 108. It is greater than 98, that's why second is greater. This is the conversion of 6 square root of 3, and this is the conversion of 7 square root of 2. That means 7 square root of 2 is less than 6 square root of 3. In this way, we have to compare the surds.